80% built. Then BOEM hits the brakes on the 704 megawatt Revolution Wind project. Radar risks? Really? Is this subsidy-driven dream dead? Or is it a wake-up call for nuclear energy? Stay tuned to find out what this pause means for U.S. power. The future of energy is at stake. Don't miss it.
Gary, moving to thing number 2, we're now talking green energy, and we're bringing into the fold Revolution Wind. Thing number 2, Gary, offshore wind faces trouble with Revolution Wind suspension. Okay, whoever wrote that headline, I'm going to have a talking to.
We're going to credit the interns on this one, and I really have to credit the interns. They found a government agency I did not know existed. Raise your hand if you are familiar with the fact that the United States has a Bureau of Ocean Energy Management. We have such a thing.
Not surprised. Right? Yeah,
right.
It makes sense.
And so, for the people who say, the government is too big, I think when you have a Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, the BOEM, apparently that may tell you something. Anyway, at roughly 80% completion, the BOEM issued a halt directive to a company called Revolution Wind. They were doing a offshore windmill installation. And what the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management cited was radar interference concerns with the project. Ørsted was the project's developer. They complied. They paused installation. The project was supposed to be 704 megawatts and was intended to deliver electricity to 350,000 homes. But I would point out that that's only when the wind is blowing, right? So, if you're going to use wind power, just a reminder, you either need very expensive, environmentally unfriendly battery backup, or you're going to need some sort of coal or natural gas or instant on kind of power for that. The move to suspend does affirm President Trump's continued opposition to unreliable sources of power like wind, and support of energy independence through oil and gas. It's also worth pointing out that a lot of the wind farms are largely built by European developers. That reinforces President Trump's skepticism of foreign influence, not interference, influence in U.S. infrastructure. I was thinking about China there. China makes most of our solar panels. That there is reason to be concerned about that. I don't think the Europeans are putting harmful malware in the, our wind equipment. It's also worth pointing out here that while the offshore wind farms do have clear benefits, they cost more than onshore wind. They cost more than solar. You need a ton of oil to make the blades for them. You need an enormous amount of cooling for the concrete to drive these deep into the ground, even if it's underwater. And they also serve basically as bird blenders and kill a lot of wildlife in the area. So, there are reasons why people were concerned about it, but, I think a key part of it is really the reliability and of these kinds of installations. Also, I don't know if this is true or not, Rob, but I've read that there have been issues with the reliability of wind power, not just it only works when the wind is blowing, but something about the air and the salt water tend to corrode these things, and the useful life is less than a lot of people expect. If you're an expert in this stuff, put it in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think about the useful life of these things.
Yeah, I agree, definitely, because I know, obviously, Gary, we're very bullish on nuclear, right? Especially with AI and tech and the use of that infrastructure, right? And we're just not seeing the picture here from the wind side. But Gary, let's put the energy aside, because if you look at Ørsted's stock price, right? I mean, it had a run from about 250 up to, I think it was 325. And then there was a catalyst where they failed to sell stake in Sunrise Wind. That took the stock price all the way down to $200, right around there. Wind project halted, another dip. Now I think it's trading sub 200. I mean, what really is the business lesson here, or what do you take away from this from an investment angle?
Rob, for me, a lot of times people will suggest ideas to me, and I always say, I don't like binary situations. I don't like a situation where your investment success is going to be determined by a ruling from a judge or a ruling from a regulatory agency because they don't do what you hope they're going to do. It's not going to happen on your time frame. And you wait and there's a day, and like you pointed out, the Ørsted stock price went from 325 to around 200 in just a matter of weeks. Sorry, a month. That's pretty rough to get blown up like that. And so, I think it's dangerous to be investing in a company with a business model that's too heavily reliant on one, government subsidies as opposed to consumer demand, and two, where you require a government regulatory agency to approve something or not approve it. Right now, Rob, you have a lot of green energy advocates who are pretty angry about this decision and saying, how could this happen? Well, I'll tell you how it could happen. The same way the Keystone Pipeline got stopped by the Biden administration, right? Like, this is what happens. Governments make decisions. In the Keystone Pipeline, they've been building that thing for years and years and years. And all of a sudden, the White House says, nope, it gets stopped. And, people are saying, my
Yeah.
God, these guys were 80% done with this. It got stopped. Yeah, this is exactly what happens. And so I don't want to get
Right.
into the politics, team red, team blue, green energy, carbon energy. I don't want to get into all that. My position on this is don't be in the path of government agencies, and don't be in multi-year projects where a government agency or the White House can say, yeah, we're not going to allow this. In the end, here's where I'm invested on this. The US needs more electrical generation. The political will to build more carbon-based ones doesn't exist. The current administration is not thrilled with wind and solar. So where's that leave us, Rob? Nuclear,
Yep.
right? If
Yep.
you think you own enough uranium, you probably don't.
Great stuff. Yeah. Gary's been saying it for years and years, hammering it into my head. No brainer. Just go look at the numbers. Bottom line.